Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Teddy Maloney Ice Rink on the campus of Proctor Academy in Andover, New Hampshire. Big third period between St. Paul's School Pelicans and Proctor Academy Hornets. It's going to happen in just a few moments, and St. Paul's will begin it on a strange power play. They got a minute and 48 left on that. It was a bench minor assessed to Proctor, and then a game misconduct to, I think it was number 17, Ronan Walsh. Initially I thought it was number 8, Jack Swarbrick, but I think it's Ronan Walsh who was kicked out of this one. And nobody's really sure why. We think it might have been delay a game, but there was a lot of arguing that went on at the end of the third period, actually just before the end of the third period, and it sees all of it sees St. Paul's go to the power play, trying to tie this one up. They're down 3-2, and they're in the offensive zone right now. Stathheim back to the line, having some trouble with it was Sweet, and he's forced to reverse under the pressure of the Proctor forecheck. 1:10 to go, and there's a hit in front of the St. Paul's bench. I think Simpson might have laid it as Swarbrick went down. Here goes Menez cutting across the middle of the slot, poked away from him. And a nice little drag move there by Miles Abbott. That'll clear the zone, and then some. Abbott will swing back again. He's got plenty of time, and he finds Delgado coming through with a shot that was stopped by Andy Barron. Another one in the slot. Look out here, it's Joslin. And another one, he got a backhander come through on Barron. Andy had to make the save. This is a penalty kill for Proctor, and they're running around here in the offensive end. That's the first time we've seen that tonight. St. Paul's this season 2 for 10. Coming into this game on power plays. They're already 0 for 2 in this one, and 27 seconds away from being 0 for 3 as this one's bounced down the ice. Russell will wind around, and here goes Bryson Russell. He hits the red line, and then the blue dishes it off. Schubert top of the dot, swung and missed on it, and now starting the other way, here goes Connor Joslin. Joslin tipped away from him there by Max Dumas. 5 seconds to go in the St. Paul's power play. Dumas up in the middle of the ice here. Joslin right on him. He forces him to the outside. Stepping right out of the box there is Walsh. So he must not have been the guy that got kicked out of the game. I thought it was Jack Swarbrick, number 8. So it must have been Jack Swarbrick, but he was on the ice to start the third period. Which I'm sure that's not what a game misconduct means, that you get a penalty to get the play. I don't think that's how that works. So it just adds a bit more to the confusion. Who really knows now, though? Not even the coaches on either side seem to know. Referees after the period talked it over. That power play is over now, by the way. So St. Paul's 0 for 3 in this one, and they move to 2 for their last, 2 for their last 13. Yes, I can do that math. And belted from behind in low there is Menez. And speaking of power play, St. Paul's going back to another one. Oh, sorry, that was Sullivan. Not Menez, I was going to say. It did not look like Julian. 18, not 10. Takes the hit from behind and draws the penalty. And St. Paul's right back to the power play. The second opportunity this period for St. Paul's to tie it up. But this game, by the way, almost sudden becoming even bigger than it initially was. These are 4-point games for St. Paul's against all Lakes region opponents because they only play each team once. All the other Lakes region teams play each other twice, and it's 2 points each. But St. Paul's does not because this is their first year in the league, and they're just kind of transitioning into the Lakes region schedule. Slinton with a trigger pull. It got knocked over to the far side. Pinching it is Sullivan. It got knocked away from him, up and out. Chasing it near the blue line was Martin. But yes, 4-point match, and that makes everything more important. But at the same time, we've received word that KUA, the 2-time defending champion, fell to Tilton today by a score of 2-1. St. Paul's lost to Tilton 3-2 in overtime last Saturday, just a week ago. But not often do you see KUA go down, and that opens up a bit of space in the league right now. And St. Paul's could open up, or Proctor could get 4 points and could put them into contention here early right away. And in St. Paul's case, could put them on top of the league. They were tied 8-8 with Tilton, I believe, when I last checked. With Tilton's win, it's now 10-8 the points. St. Paul's could get 4 and then hop on top of the division with a win today. Not sure where Proctor lies in the mix, but they would be catapulted upwards as well. 4 points, always valuable. And in the challenge as well for St. Paul's, as teams will probably be playing up to them, you would think, because they know they're playing for double the points. With a long stretch pass, the intended target was Joslin there. It will not go for icing, despite, well, the referee just waves it off. I guess Joslin was far enough ahead. Loose in the corner now, down to our right. Puck popped to the middle, up on it first is Stadheim. He hands it off for Menez, who's picking up speed now, cutting right side. That's Julian Menez. He's on his backhand. He sends one to the goal. It was stopped there by Chingris. The rebound came loose, and Proctor will send it all the way down. No icing again, and Barron's out of his net to stop it. He'll just play it himself. And up off the stick of Ronan Walsh. And out of play. They hold this face-off in neutral territory outside of the St. Paul's end, right near where the puck went out. Malcolm Bussey and Cooper Flynn have the goals for St. Paul's. 2 of them. And they trail 3-2 right now as Sacklad deflects it in behind Delgado into the zone. Delgado a bit of a fake before sending the D-to-D pass across. Schubert finds it. He's going to have to chase the puck on the right side, and Joe Schubert will now just play it in. Back for it there is Chris Sullivan. Schubert all over him as it comes up to the half wall and then some. Back in low, and Grant Porter will take it. Come up and around, that's Miles Abbott. Long stretch pass, and here comes Proctor. That's Ronan Walsh stopping up, cutting to the middle. Puck is loose. It's Porter now in front. It's in a couple of skates, and Orn will just take it free, and St. Paul's will come up and ahead. James Orn on the left side. He's got Schubert right behind him. Orn in front of the goal. It'll drift out to the other side. That's Sullivan, a sharp angle shot. Comes back across the ice, and here's Orn at the point again. James Orn, he'll just shoot it in deep. No one up there for St. Paul's, really. Schubert was chasing, but it's not going to be good enough. And now Sullivan will hammer it up and ahead. Chris Sullivan, that is. Offside at the line, though, is Miles Abbott. I mentioned on the name fun, Proctor has 2 brothers, Connor Joslin and Cam Joslin. That's always a bit of fun for a broadcaster. Get you all confused. But there's also 2 Sullivans, one on either side. Chris Sullivan and Jake Sullivan, no relation there. And then, of course, 2 Coopers, Cooper Flint and Cooper Rice. One on each side as well. They're fun with names. I think I said in the first period, too. You know, it's worth reiterating because that's really the important stuff here. This is a wraparound out in front, and fanning on it there was Donnie McNeil. There's one of the Coopers. It's Cooper Flinton skating away. He will chip it in and go chase. He gets in behind the defenseman there, David Netbird. Here's Green, that spins one wide. It goes up off the backboard. Cooper Flinton is there first. Back to line. Don't miss a shot. Got deflected. Bussey swatting for it. Tried to swing it in front there for Green. It did not go, and it's just cleared by Proctor. Out for it here is Russell. 11:40 to go in the game. Green will deflect it in. It's going to go in on Chingris, who, taking no chances, gobbles it up. Every second ticking on, so you can feel the intensity begin to ramp up in this building. And it won't be long before it really gets up there. Russell for Dumas and Simpson off that face-off after it came out of the zone. Simpson deflects it in. Oh, nearly a gimme there for Stadheim. Instead, it's Russell top of the dot with a shot, or rather top of the key. He had that shot. I don't think it ever made it to the goal. Here's Russell again. He'll play it off the half wall and back in low. That's Stadheim, pressured by 2. Nobody helping him yet. Now Menez comes in. It's frozen up against the boards. And they're going to call a penalty. I was going to say that would be a quick frozen puck call. We'll see who's going to skate to the box. 4 players are in the mix down low, but it looks like it is going to be Bryson Martin shaking his head as he heads to the sin bin in a 3rd power play opportunity for St. Paul's. They have got to capitalize. You got to think on here or one of these. They will be looking back at the end of this one, thinking about missed opportunities. And they've already had 3 missed opportunities on the power play so far. Power play that went 0 for 2 last game against Vermont Academy as well. Joslin chipped it in behind Dumas, who got his stick back there and moved it up and ahead. Here's James Orn. Orn on around. It'll end up back on the stick of Russell. Little spinorama at the blue line. It'll trickle to the slot. Knocked onto the stick of Sacklad. Sacklad and then Orn on the back door. Couldn't settle down the puck, which was in the air. Orn a sharp angle shot that goes in behind the goal. Drifts up to the wall. Russell pinching it. It got chipped by him. And here comes Joslin in the zone. Connor Joslin stopped on the wall by St. Paul's. There's Schubert. Good poke there by Abbott. And he knocks the St. Paul's attackers further into their own end. Swarbrick forced a turnover behind the goal. Up there helping him now is Abbott. Those two are caught in the St. Paul's end right now, but the Pelicans can't capitalize as Kevin Craig finds it and wrisks it all the way down, nearly hitting Miles Abbott. Out of his goal there is Barron. He faked going left, instead goes right. Kicks off the skate of Swarbrick and back below the goal line. McLean trying to settle things down. It's on the goal line there. Loose at the post, and Barron has to reach out of his net to cover it up. That'll get your heart rate up. Kenny McLean trying to settle down a bouncing puck in behind his own net, and he lost it at the side of the goal, and Barron off his post seemed to let down his guard a bit, and that puck was there on the goal line. We would have seen our first 2-goal margin, but the puck bounces in St. Paul's favor, and it stays out. I don't think Andy even knew it was there for some time. Odd man rush for St. Paul's if they can get going. Here's Menez working. Ooh, he went into the boards hard. And Julian Menez is down. Andy Barron out of his net to touch it. And the trainer comes sprinting off the bench. I didn't see him go into the boards, but he's down and wreathing on the ice. And this does not look good. He had quite a bit of momentum coming into the zone. And I don't know if he lost his edge or he got taken down by a Proctor defender, but he went in hard, and that's the only way the big man would be down, or at least this long. He's shaking his head up to his knees right now. Also entering the screen there, Dan Murphy, the coach for St. Paul's, off the bench. That would not be a good loss for... Any loss is not a good loss, but that would be a big loss for St. Paul's as Menez returns to his feet, and I think he's going to skate off himself, which is always a good sign. He received the stick tap from both benches as he will glide to his own. The faceoff will be down to the St. Paul's end because that's where the play was halted. I think it's 15 seconds left to go in the St. Paul's man advantage on the edge of going 0 for 3 for the period. And this looks like he's okay on the bench down to our left. One last rush here on this power play for St. Paul's as it is Simpson carrying ahead. Eric Simpson stopping inside the line, swings it across. That's Stadheim, a shot. It was blocked aside there by Craig down on the knee. Sweet was calling for the puck. He's got it now. McElhinney gives it across. That's Stadheim sneaking in his Sweet. Stadheim waiting. Wrister. It'll go into the corner. McElhinney's there first. Covering his spot is Culver. There's Simpson taken into the wall down to our left, a bit in our blind spot. Thanks to those dashers by the scorer's table, or I should say padding by the scorer's table. There's McElhinney with a shot. It went off a stick and into the corner. We are back to 5-on-5, but St. Paul's is getting some good power play action in there right now. This is the most offensive zone time they've had, and that includes the power play, the 3 power plays this period. Here's Stadheim. He's first to the puck. Centered it in front. Culver shooting. Stop, rebound. Where's the puck? The St. Paul's bench jumped up. I thought it was in, but somehow it stays out. And now the other way, it's Abbott. Abbott's a 2-on-1. Stopped by Barron, and the rebound was loose for a moment. And Walsh couldn't knock it home. Standing up, Walsh is McElhinney. Coming into the line to hold it there was Sullivan. Loose on the boards, and Culver just throws it away to the middle of the ice. That'll allow Proctor to keep it in, only for that short period of time, though. And it's back out, and having some trouble with it is Sullivan. Buzzy hopping up there now. Sullivan, though, recovered and set it up for Cooper Rice. Good flurry of action there in the last minute and a half or so. Here's Rice. Pass in short quarters, and trying to come out in front was Ladka. He was stuffed at the post there by Barron, and now an outlet pass from Bussey to Flinton. Ladka did not get a stick on that puck at the blue line. Disagreeing with the call is Cooper Rice, and he's shouting back at the official, but icing's going to be the call against Proctor. And I think that is the right call, even though Ladka was in close quarters. I don't know why he didn't stick his stick out and get a piece of it, but I don't think he did, at least from our vantage point. We're seeing the back, though, of Ladka in this case. St. Paul's will get the offensive zone draw as a result of the icing call, and Proctor won it. Sullivan up and out, and now here comes Chickering. Chickering with a burst of speed coming into the zone. Getting around, or getting the puck off his stick was Guillaume Deere. It's still loose. Guillaume Deere deflected it to the corner. Chickering was standing right there, though. Here's Orn, hammered into the boards in front of the bench there by Ladka. Chasing it further into the offensive zone there is Sacklad. He goes down, taken in there by Netburn. Just now returning to his feet, John is, as getting in behind the defense is Temper. 6:59 to go in this game, and the pace is picking up. Proctor looking for their fourth, and St. Paul's looking for their tying third. There's Max Dumas coming out across the goal line, hits the face-off circle, and then finds the stick of James Horn. He's on the wrong side of the red line, though. And even though that puck was shot all the way down with power, and quite a bit of bounce on it, too, icing is the call. So 6:44 to go, and a face-off to the right of Andy Barron. He's been good in the St. Paul's net. Temper now up to the line after Proctor won the draw. It's reversed in front for Temper. It's loose there at the bottom of the circle. Nothing doing. Hammered up and off the boards and out. It got in behind Craig. Sacklad hustling there. He can't pick up the puck. I guess he was forechecking in that case, because I don't think John he was going for it, but it was at the end of his shift, so wasn't putting all of his gas. Maybe he wasn't. I think he's at the end of the shift. He's the only guy still left out on his line, and he's gonna push his endurance right now. Maybe that's why he made that play. He needed to get off the ice, and will now in exchange for Bussey. He puts it up and off the rafters to get a whistle. I don't know if that was a desperation move. I don't think it was. Sacklad's not a guy you typically associate with the word desperation. Strong three-sport athlete, three-sport captain. Captain for football, hockey, and lacrosse. If anyone knows endurance, it's him. Here's Flinton moving those feet. His first pass did not go. He gets the puck back, though. Cooper Flinton traversing the slot. It'll come outside, and now out of the zone. Sweet. The arm is up for offside, and St. Paul's will regroup, and Bussey will head back in there on the forecheck. In neutral territory, that's Abbott. He feeds it in, and here comes Ronan Walsh. He's got a man going to the cage. That's Porter. He's now in behind. Green found the puck first, so 5:27 to go in this one. St. Paul's still looking for the tying goal, and Cooper Flinton will just shoot it in deep off the wall for Bussey, and he hits the shot wide. Good momentum there by Malcolm Bussey going to the zone. Julian Menez back out on the ice for his first shift since he was down on the play. Good to see that he's all right. We saw that he's all right because he came steaming off the bench. Abbott kicked it. Here's Porter now. Porter's shot up off the low glass after it was deflected, but not out of play. About an inch from that. Turnover by Simpson on the boards. Walsh couldn't pull it off there, and Stadheim will instead receive it. His own Stadheim takes a look around up and off the stick of Julian Menez. Loose in neutral territory, and Stadheim will find it again. Crisp pass for Guillaume Deere, and then it's in between the legs of Sullivan. St. Paul's having some trouble handling the puck. Menace swatted at it and missed. Proctor can't enter. Rice would have been offside. Got to slow down there for a moment. Now they're into the zone. Here's Guillaume Gier. He reversed it right onto the stick at the side. It's Chickering. He couldn't shoot it. It comes to the line, though. Beaver with a shot off the stick of Rice at the side of the cage. It's loose now. Comes out towards the blue paint. Clear to the boards, but not out. That's Craig off. Ladka now stomping on the half wall. Ladka taking a look around. 4:06 to go. It's still 3-2. Comes back. Craig back in low. Ladka at a tip as it comes around. Stepping in through the line. There is Beaver. He will hold it in deep. Puck bounces up at the side of the cage. Barron had a stick on it. It'll go to the corner. St. Paul's pent up in their own end right now, and Proctor just wearing them away. Centered in front of the net, and a big shot there by Rice, missed wide. That was it. That was going to be the fourth goal, and it just missed wide of the far post. Proctor is really buzzing right now in the offensive zone. Sadheim's just got to get it out. It goes off the boards. Menez can't clear it. Turned over into the middle. That's Rice to the backhand, and it's stopped by Barron. Andy keeping St. Paul's in this one right now. That's a big stop. Now it's up to the line. Did it come out? It did. St. Paul's bench was screaming. They needed that offside call, and it wasn't going to come. The referee with a bit of hesitation, much to the chagrin of TJ Beaver, he does make the call, and we can take a breather. It's offside. Take a breath now, though. That shift is anything representing the end of this one. Whew. You got to take that breath now because you might not be able to take it later. Here's Russell, fanned on the puck. Getting up there, Swarbeck will shoot it in. Dumas, 3-0-0 on the clock, and the puck came out there on Sullivan stepping up. So here's Owen with a bit of time and space. He found Dumas moving ahead, and Max Dumas gains the red line and shoots it in. Up there is Sacklad and Schubert, but Proctor will be able to move past those two players with ease. And into the zone now is Warbrick. Warbrick, he's got a man go to the net. Instead it's to the outside. That was Torres, who comes from the middle of the ice to the right side. Centered in front and swinging and missing on it. That was, Joslin. Here's another shot coming from the line, and it goes up and out of play. The defensive zone now just breaking down for St. Paul's almost completely. Connor Joslin left all alone, and a bit of luck involved there. He falls on the play and can't get the shot off. Oof. Proctor seems to have ramped up the gas in the time when you would expect St. Paul's to ramp it up. We're down to 2:30 on the clock. Still no goals here in this third period. Proctor 1 in the first, 2 in the second, St. Paul's 2 in the second. And now the Pelicans coaching staff seeing their team beginning to wear will take their timeout, and a well-timed timeout if I might add. Those are two shifts that St. Paul's has been turned around and looked very poor in their own end. And those two shifts happen to be important ones in the complexion of the game, because any shift with less than 5 minutes left on the clock in a 3-2 game is an important one, especially for the team that is down. You get a good look inside the huddle. Literally, I mean, probably the most interesting spot I've ever broadcasted a game from. We're practically on the bench. I'd be listening in and telling you what Coach Murphy's saying in there, but I got rather large headphones on, and it kind of blocks out at least voices from a long distance, that precise sound. Proctor making some noise, and they will break huddle right now. A couple of whistles from the referee signaling that St. Paul's has got to go here. Everyone in position on the ice but the Big Red right now, and that includes the officials. There they go. They break huddle, and the face-off will be to the right. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Proctor 3, St. Paul's 2. The Hornets trying to come away with 4 big points here at home and get their second win of this homestand in a close one. St. Paul's looking to do the opposite. There's a turnover. Abbott sends it back. Red shot. And Barron making a huge stop off of Chris Sullivan. Maloney struggling on the puck in low. Proctor has come out after the timeout just as they were before. Maloney up and it's centered in front. That's Abbott turning. And the puck was deflected wide. Loose in there for Porter. He had it knocked away from him. And now it's Flinton. Everybody's got to go up and ahead. St. Paul's making changes on Diaz. Flinton staple guns his man to the wall. It comes up and gets by Harrison Sweet, who was pinching in. Here's Dumas now. Reversing with the puck, touching it off was Sweet, and then turning it over was Green. Another close one, but this time, Proctor offside. I'm not sure if it was Ty Green who coughed it. No, it was Dumas who coughed it up. And Green was there, and he pushed Abbott offside, or he would have been in. 97 seconds to play. There's Menez. The goalie's going to come in just a moment. You got to think. 1:28 on the clock. Still nothing yet. Still 5 against 5, and that's how St. Paul's going to try to score it. Here's a shot from the face-off circle. It's loose, and finding it was Chickering after it never made it to the goal. Then Chickering's going to come up into the middle. It's loose in the hatch marks. There's a shot, and the rebound trickled wide is coming in with Latka. Another one comes through here, goes off the leg of Dumas. 1 minute to go, and here goes Menez. Menez is in, but St. Paul's is offside. Charlie Murphy down to my left is wondering the same thing I am. Still no goalie pull. And only 60 seconds on the clock. Maybe Dan Murphy was trying to wear out Proctor to take their time out, and that's exactly what they've done. Maybe Proctor took the timeout in the offensive zone. You can never tell. Sometimes the referees are really good about giving signals to the rest of the rink instead of just telling the scorers. Sometimes they're not. I think they probably gave the signal. I'm often so caught up in things I'm not even looking. So somebody's taking their timeout. I'm going to go with the fact that it is Proctor. And Mike Walsh just kind of looking down at his gestures to the Proctor squad in the huddle all the way down the other side. Seems very vehement in what he is saying. A minute. That's all that remains. One on the time and one on the score. The difference between St. Paul's and Proctor is 1 minute and 1 goal. The Hornets 3, the Pelicans 2. This face-off will be in neutral territory in front of the Hornets bench, and they are making noise. Here we go, folks. Digging in his Owen Stadheim for the Big Red. They're banging on the boards, too. And Stadheim won a big draw. McElhenney outside for Menez, and here comes Andy Barron to the bench. Puck up along the boards. There it is loose, and digging it off is Stadheim. He's going to try to charge to the cage. Finding it is Proctor, loose in the face-off dot. Comes up top. Nice little move there by Russell. He steers it backhander. It's loose there. The goaltender was down, and Proctor will find it and get it out. 38 seconds to go, and icing is waved off. It wasn't going to make it. Here's McElhenney stopping up. Puts it up the board. Stadheim places it right onto the stick of Craig. He'll drift it in. 28 seconds to play. Here's Russell, lost it, coming in his flat cut, scores! That's it. The finisher after Russell lost it right in front of his own bench, and Andy Barron will return to his net to Proctor for St. Paul's 2. That should do it for this one. A closely contested game, but Proctor the better team, and they're going to walk away with 4 points here. 10 seconds left on the clock, and it sailed in on Barron. He'll just deflect it aside. Sullivan will play it, and this is going to do it. 2 and then 1. It's the Hornets, 4-2 victors here on home ice. Final score, Proctor 4 and St. Paul's 2. Chiefs will shake hands. That will do it for our broadcast. Thanks for tuning in, folks. It's the Hornets, the winners. They defeat St. Paul's at home. We'll see you next time down in Connecticut for the Avon Old Farms Christmas Classic. 3 games down there, and it should be a fun one. Hope to see you then. But for now, my name is Ryan Murphy, signing off.